You are watching KEVU 25 News Now at 10.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Trenton Whiting. Officers responded to a structure fire late this afternoon, taking place at the Burger King off of Houston Highway. A 911 call was made at 5:17 p.m. of a reported commercial structure fire. Firefighters put out the flames within 10 minutes after arriving. Investigators are still looking for a cause. Burger King plans to reopen back to the public once repairs and investigations are complete. Stay tuned to 25 News Now for more information coming up in the week. Portions of 2 streets in Victoria were closed today and will remain closed tomorrow for additions to the water lines in the area. The northbound side of Lawrence Street will be closed from Rio Grande Street to Nueces Street. Rio Grande Street will be closed to westbound traffic from Azalea Street to Lawrence Street. This work is part of the Lawrence Street Waterline Replacement Project. The city says that access to homes and businesses in the area will not be affected by the construction. For more information, call City Engineering at 361-485-3340. New research is shedding light on child sexual assault and its connection to social media. Many parents let their children use social media, where some connect with predators. Researchers are scheduled to speak about the issue Sunday at the American Academy of Pediatrics National Conference and Exhibition in Orlando. The new study, which will be presented at the conference, found that about 7% of children ages 10 to 18 who were treated for sexual assault at a California hospital between 2018 and 2023 met their attacker through social media. The lead researcher said social media platforms can present a false sense of security and so-called friendship. Other researchers say the threat from social media has changed the way parents need to protect their kids, and they recommend closely keeping track of children who are talking to on social networks. The aftermath of Hurricane Helene has killed dozens of people in the South, and millions still don't have power. Whole communities were flattened by the devastating storm.
This morning, urgent rescue and recovery efforts underway days after Hurricane Helene roared through the southeast, triggering extreme deadly floods. Parts of western North Carolina in and around Asheville hit with what officials are calling biblical devastation. At least 60 people unaccounted for.
This is looking to be Buncombe County's own Hurricane Katrina.
The historic storm dumping as much as 30 inches of rain in parts of the Carolina mountains. Nearly a dozen landslides reported.
I don't think anyone was prepared for it. I don't think anyone thought it would be this bad.
Roads and bridges washed away. As of Saturday, the state DOT shutting down more than 400 roads. Countless residents stranded. Crews and neighbors going door to door to help the most vulnerable.
It's like a bomb went off. They don't have homes. They don't have oxygen, they don't have water.
Relief teams from nearly 20 states on the ground, helping rescue hundreds of people from floodwaters.
We're just trying to keep everybody alive.
This as the death toll from Helene continues to climb. The massive storm killing dozens of people across multiple states.
It looks like a war zone.
In Tennessee, catastrophic stormwater raging downstream. More than 30 people still missing. Helicopter footage from above showing entire neighborhoods gone. Helene destroying businesses and homes.
This has took my whole life, but we will come back.
Millions still in the dark from Florida, where Helene made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane Thursday night in the Big Bend area, to Georgia, where storm victims are still reeling. The Hall family, whom we met as they were evacuating their neighborhood by boat, returning to their storm-tossed home.
I don't even know where to begin.
Amid the flooded debris, the Halls forced to pick up the pieces.
Obviously a very sad situation here in the southeast, but that's going to lead us to today's viewer poll. Do you know anyone who was affected by Hurricane Helene personally? 33% say yes, 67% say no, and we just want to send the best to those who are affected by the storm. If you aren't one of the people who know someone personally, thank your lucky stars, because it's looking bad out there. But while we're on the topic of weather, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to First Warn Storm Team meteorologist Trey Mining to see what the rest of the week is going to look like. Trey?
And good evening, everyone. Trey Mining here. Let's take a look at the almanac for today. 96 degrees was the official high in Victoria, low 60 degrees. Nice and cool feel to the morning hours. It felt very nice this morning with lows in their 60 degrees, even the 50s north of Victoria. We'll repeat that again for your night in the early morning hours on Monday. Above normal for a normal high. Ending the year so far under 2 inches under normal for rainfall. We do need the rainfall around here, definitely for our region here. Looks like there will be some rain chance at some point in time. Later on down the line toward the end of the week, way it looks at this point. We'll talk about that and what's going on in the tropics. It's still active out there in the northwestern Caribbean Sea especially. We'll take a look at that possibility coming out later in the full forecast.
Thanks, Trey. The steps leading up to the Philadelphia Museum of Art are world famous, featured in the classic film Rocky. They are a symbol of the underdog's triumph through hard work and grit. Now, a man is using them to honor his brother by running up the stairs 1,000 times.
James Resnick was up all night. In fact, he told us he was awake and running since Thursday evening with only short breaks to drink fluids.
A lot of these Gatorades and stuff.
And use a bathroom. By Saturday, he hadn't lost steam.
I think the adrenaline's kicking in, so I'm wide awake.
James wanted to run the Rocky steps 1,000 times in honor of his brother Sammy, for whom things aren't as easy physically.
He's a hero for me.
Sammy got in a bad car accident 22 years ago and now lives in a full-time care facility.
He's never complained about his situation once. Definitely the funniest and most charming person I know. And when I need advice, I actually go to him.
Resnick wants people to look at his journey and show them that we have the power to rise above our circumstances. We were there on Friday to see part of Resnick's journey. It's a goal he set over a year ago.
So I came to do it last year, not prepared, and it was 90 degrees out. I made it to 300, and then I was like, okay, I'll come back and I'll do it the right way.
And with his brother on his mind throughout, Resnick finished a critical lap.
999.
Let's go, woo!
And he was ready to run right through the finish line.
Go, James. Congratulations. Woo!
1,000 laps, 40 hours. So thank you to the city. I love everybody.
As Resnick got to the bottom, Sammy was waiting for him.
It's all about love, whether, friends, family, your siblings, whoever. It's just all about love.
A feat of brotherly love in the city of brotherly love.
The Israeli strikes in Lebanon have been going on for days now, and they're showing no sign of letting up, despite new fears of a wider war in the region. Lebanon's state news agency says the Sunday strikes have killed at least 10 people. Meanwhile, the IDF says that a number of projectiles have been fired from Lebanon into Israel. All this is happening as the U.S. says Israel is moving troops to the border with Lebanon, a possible sign of preparations for a cross-border incursion. Israel says a ground operation is only one of the options it's considering. Now to Colorado, where a man may have started a wildfire and then posed as a firefighter.
As properties sit destroyed by flames from the Alexander Mountain fire, we're uncovering more about the person accused of causing it. The arrest affidavit for 49-year-old Jason Hobby says he posed as a firefighter while working at Sylvandale Ranch near Loveland. Investigators say a staff member at the ranch reported being concerned Hobby created this incident to insert himself as a hero in the eyes of staff after his recent disciplinary work history. The arrest report explains Hobby had gotten in trouble for harassing Sylvandale Ranch staff and even frequently pulling guns on people who came onto the property. The report goes on to say as the Alexander Mountain fire was burning, Hobby sent multiple videos to co-workers of himself dressed up as a firefighter, as well as video of real firefighters that he seemed upset were not in the same area as him fighting the fire. Investigators say he also lied about being a firefighter in Wyoming, telling owners of the ranch on his days off he'd travel there to fight fires. The report says a person resembling Hobby was known to show up at fire scenes in Wyoming, work with crews, and leave without being paid. While Hobby told ranch managers he'd be out of town the day the Alexander Mountain fire started, he and another man were spotted wearing firefighting uniforms near the fire's origin less than 90 minutes after it was called in.
North Carolina's Republican nominee for governor was treated for second-degree burns after an incident at a campaign event. Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson said he burned his hand on a big rig he was riding in Friday at the Mayberry Truck Show and Parade in Mount Airy. The injury happened when he touched the exhaust pipe while getting out of the truck. Robinson was taken to the hospital Friday, but he was back on the campaign trail Saturday and told supporters it was just a minor second-degree burn. The incident comes amid fallout from CNN reporting on Robinson's past inflammatory comments on a pornography website's message board. Some prominent Republicans have tried to distance themselves from Robinson in the aftermath. A close aide of New York City Mayor Eric Adams was served a subpoena Friday. Ingrid Lewis Martin returned home from a vacation in Japan to federal authorities waiting for her at the airport. They served her with a subpoena and seized her phone. It should be noted, it's not known if this is related to Adams' case. Adams pleaded not guilty Friday in federal court to bribery, wire fraud, and improper campaign contribution charges. Lewis Martin has worked alongside Adams since long before he was elected. The pair are so close, he frequently refers to her as his sister. Tennis icon Billie Jean King is now the first individual female athlete to receive the Congressional Gold Medal. King, who is 80 years old, made the announcement on social media. The award honors King's trailblazing achievements both on and off the court. During her career, King won 39 Grand Slam titles in singles, doubles, and mixed doubles. She also broke ground, advocating for equal rights for women in sports and society. Many also remember King's 1973 victory over Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes match, which was the most watched tennis match of all time. The Congressional Gold Medal is Congress's most prestigious way of recognizing someone's achievements. Until King, all those individuals had been men. Now stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 5:30, some of your favorite artists are blocked on YouTube. Find out more coming up.
Very hot day across Victoria and most of the Lone Star State today. When's the relief coming, if any? Any rain chances? We'll take a look coming up in the full forecast.
Election Day is now barely 5 weeks away. The race is still a dead heat, and the focus this weekend has been on immigration.
President Donald Trump overnight at one of the biggest college football games of the year, Georgia versus Alabama. Accompanied by 2 Alabama senators and Kid Rock, they're in the stands throwing boxes of popcorn to college students pressed up against the barricade.
I've been waiting 60 years to come here.
Vice President Kamala Harris's running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, a longtime high school coach himself, back on familiar turf too. Greeted at the airport by supporters in the crucial swing state with a bus decked out to read, "Put me in, coach." A new New York Times Siena poll showing Michigan and Wisconsin tightening from a few weeks ago, Harris and Trump neck and neck. Earlier in the day in Wisconsin, Trump upping his personal attacks against Harris. At one point, talking about the border, calling her mentally impaired, saying she should resign and go back to California.
Only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
And the majority of Trump's speech centered on his anti-immigrant message, often using extreme language, claiming that all migrants are hardened criminals destroying the country, and focusing on Harris's visit this week to the border.
She released so much suffering, misery, and death.
Harris traveling to the border in Arizona Friday for the first time as the Democratic nominee, saying that she will go even further than President Biden, who has recently taken steps to dramatically increase deportations and limit access to asylum protections, while blasting Trump for his policies and a lack of long-term solutions.
He did not solve the shortage of immigration judges. He put children in cages and tried to end protections for dreamers.
Songs by Adele, Bob Dylan, Green Day, and many more are blocked by YouTube in a legal dispute with the performing rights organization Sept. Attempts to play many songs by those artists on Saturday were met with this message. This video contains content from Sept. It is not available in your country. A similar dispute between Universal Music Group and TikTok earlier this year raged on for several months before it was resolved. In a statement to Variety, a YouTube rep said they were not able to reach an agreement with Sept before the current agreement expired. Despite their best efforts, reps for Sept did not immediately respond to requests for comment. For more on today's news stories, come to crossroadstoday.com. And don't forget to submit your birthday wishes. Carolina Estrain and meteorologist Parker Cox will read them live on 25 News Now Sunrise. You can also submit a local military hero so we can recognize them.
Very hot day across Victoria and most of the Lone Star State today. When's the relief coming, if any? Any rain chances? We'll take a look coming up in the full forecast. Good Sunday evening, everyone. Trey Mining here. Hope your weekend was good. Mine was. And good weather across the state of Texas. A few high clouds in northern parts of the state, pretty much fizzling out. High pressure dominates our weather here throughout the entire Lone Star State, keeping the clouds away and the precipitation away for the time being. Us here in Victoria, it was a very hot day, as it was most of the area, with high temperatures well into the 90s for the daytime high. We'll zoom on out. We have high pressure again bridging into the state of Texas. There's the remnants of Helene mixed up with this low pressure area and frontal trough in the mid-Atlantic states. Finally, this high pressure ridge to our west will begin to push this to the east into the Atlantic Ocean. Give those folks a break coming up in the next couple of days down the road. So some very intensive and significant flooding happening in this part of the country, so we feel for those folks. And hopefully that'll come to an end soon. Feel like temperature for the rest of the time period, starting from the 80s for the rest of the evening. 70s and 60s waking up time early on your Monday morning. Feeling nice early in the morning time, then heating up rather rapidly throughout the day with a plentiful sunshine. Will be well into the 94, 95 degree range, which is pretty much equal to the air temperature because they still have lower humidity in the air. And the tropics are still active. Thought Helene was it. Nope, that's not the case. We're watching this area here. It's in the Caribbean Sea. It has the model runs, hurricane model ones we typically follow, have a strong confidence that something's going to be developing here once again. It's still too early to tell what intensity it'll be or what direction it'll be heading, more than likely in this direction here, toward the Gulf of Mexico, toward the middle part of the week. We'll keep tabs on it for you and keep you updated if anything does happen, of course, something to watch. And we'll see the northerly winds around here, keeping the clouds at bay, high pressure with our weather here. And see the Gulf of Mexico, it's kind of not really showing anything too significant here so far. Just areas of rain showers and thunderstorms, kind of keeping it kind of generic in the direction here. Something could be developing in the Bay of Campeche or just north of the Yucatan Peninsula, so kind of uncertain with that here. But the main thing is the model run shows something that's going to be developing in some sort of system coming up by the latter part of the week. Some of that moisture could get closer to the Texas coast, so include some rain chances toward the areas of the Friday into the weekend, of course. Future clouds and rain, keeping that at bay for now with high pressure over our region here. Sunshine we'll continue to enjoy around here. Looking a little bit closer at home here, no rain, no clouds pretty much to speak of. Clear at night, sunny skies throughout the day. So get out there and enjoy it, but keep in mind it's going to be very hot, especially in the afternoons. Cuero, sunny skies throughout the entire day on your Monday, with highs well into the 90s, of course, southerly winds by the afternoon, bringing that moisture in slowly but surely. Port Lavaca, about the same as well, northerly winds and southeasterly winds by the afternoon, highs in the 90s there as well, about 3 o'clock. And Victoria, about the same as well, sunny skies with partly cloudy skies at times here and there. High temperatures well into the 90s for the daytime high, so be careful out there and stay safe and cool. 90s throughout the entire forecast period. Maybe some rain chances, depending on what happens in the Gulf. If we have to increase these or keep them the same, it still remains to be seen. So keep weather aware throughout the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Lows in 60s and 70s throughout the entire forecast period. Make it a great week and try your best to stay cool. Take a look at this right here. This is the QR code. Get your smartphone, scan the code you see right there. They'll take you to a web page. You can download our app, News, Weather, and Sports at your fingertips. Very easy, convenient, and it's free of charge to be connected with us.
Coming up in sports, the UHV men's soccer team was in action yesterday. Find out how they did, along with some NFL news. So stay tuned. The UHV soccer team were in action at the cage yesterday to take on Texas A&M Texarkana. The Jaguars looking to avenge their 2-0 loss against LSU Shreveport on Thursday, and they did just exactly that. Great defensive presence on the field. Texas A&M unable to make a goal on the film, but it was the complete opposite for the Jaguars. Yahir Pina leading the team in goals with 3. Pina has also had 3 shots on goal, going 3 for 3. A great performance for UHV. All what followed was Ruari Menzes, Matt Surgeon, and Osayo Rebello all having a goal of their own. The UHV Jaguars dominate the game-winning final score, 6-0. The Jaguars will be back in action on the road against the Hudson at Tilton. The Longhorns, currently number 2 in the rankings, to take on Mississippi State, their first SEC matchup. There you see Arch Manning on the field throwing long and deep to DeAndre Moore for a 49-yard touchdown. Manning still silencing all the critics and dancing in the process. No worries for Manning and the Longhorns in the midst of Ewer's absence. Manning again with great protection from the Longhorns. There you see, deciding to run it to the house like he's running for office. Touchdown, Texas. Let's take another look here. That is pretty close. You know, it's a photo finish, as some would say. Arch Manning finishing with 324 yards, 2 touchdowns. DeAndre Moore caught for 103 yards and a touchdown as well. Longhorns win it. Final score, 13-35. The Texans taking on Trevor Lawrence and the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags went into this game looking for their first victory of the season, and the determination was made clear in this play. And it looks like it was a miscue from the Texans special team in this punt return, which was gladly overturned. The Jags still scored first in the game, but the Texans still responded back as C.J. Stroud led for this play right here. A quick handoff to Stephon Diggs, and for what seems questionable at first, but Diggs first makes a run and brings it home for a Texan touchdown. The Texans just got off rolling after that miscue earlier. Nico Collins records his second touchdown of the season. Texans win it. Final score, 20-24. And wrapping things up with some Rams football, the Chicago Bears hosting the Los Angeles Rams. Cuervo's own Jordan Whittington in action for L.A. Rams off to a bad start early on in the second quarter. There you see Stafford unfortunately throwing an interception. But Whittington, on the other hand, finished second in his team with 62 receiving yards. But it wasn't enough for the Rams to win it. The Bears took home the victory. Final score, 24-18. And that does it for your sports. Trenton?
All right, thank you, Ray. Stay with us. Coming up, the moon has some company in Earth's orbit for a while. Find out more next. Our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. Stream our daily newscasts and much more using your connected TV. Just download Crossroads Today Plus on your Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, or Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we've got a little bit more time to check in one last time with Trey to get your weather for the rest of the week. Trey?
Okay, let's take a look at your forecast for the week, extended forecast, the planning forecast that is. Sunny skies throughout the majority of the time period through the rest of the work week. By Friday, seeing a slight increase in rain chances coming in our region here. We'll keep that in mind. If we get more involved with the system in the Gulf, potentially this could go up, or they could remain the same or even go away as we get closer in time. We get a better handle on what's actually going to be happening. In the meantime, it's going to be hot, highs in the 90s, lows in the 70s. Stay cool and make it a great week.
Thanks, Trey. Earth now has a second moon, at least for a while. A newly discovered asteroid is joining the Earth's orbit. Scientists call it a mini-moon. They estimate it's only about 37 feet in diameter, but more observations are needed. The mini-moon is expected to orbit the Earth starting Sunday, going through November 25th. That's when the space rock will return to a heliocentric orbit, which is an orbit around the sun. Scientists say the asteroid is more than 2.5 million miles away and is not in danger of colliding with the Earth.
Wow, so it's actually an asteroid.
Yeah, it's actually an asteroid, not really a full moon, but you know, it's got a little buddy up there.
I know.
Good for him,
yeah.
Good for the moon.
Thankfully, we don't have two suns.
Exactly. I mean, that would be too tough, honestly. It'd be hotter than it already is.
Exactly, yeah, for sure.
Well, we want to thank you so much for being with us. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today, and we hope you have a good night and a great rest of your week.